So maybe you've been stuck in a car, stuck at a sports game, stuck in a social situation, and you don't know how to make conversation. In fact, you're listening to the people around you tell stories and you're thinking, I don't even know where to start. How do I tell a story? Where do I tell a story? Well, you're not alone. I want to respond to a student email that I recently got, and it went something like this. Where do I start? I don't even know when to tell a story. Recently, I was in a car with my friend, and we drove the whole way, and I didn't know what to say. And all my friends were telling stories the whole time. What do I do? Well, the truth is it's going to happen to you sometime. There's going to be some social situation where you don't exactly know what to say. So first of all, you are not alone. Second thing, in those situations, don't try to compare. The truth is, some people are just better storytellers. Some people have more interesting lives. Right now, I am the father of three kids, three young kids, and I love them very much. But quite honestly, my life is not like one big extreme sports video. Okay, I'm not bungee jumping. I'm not skydiving, not yet. Okay, and so some of the people that are doing those things, some of the people that are gallivanting all around the world, they might have better stories than me. And that's okay, because I'm not going to compare my stories with those people. Number two, and this is probably the biggest one, you have to have confidence in your own stories, in your own adventures, and what's going on. Truthfully, this is a personal issue for me, and it's one that I'm overcoming, and I think I've overcome for the most part, but really struggled with, because I would go into social situations and I would be afraid to tell a story because I didn't want to bore people. I didn't want people to be sitting there going, oh, he's talking again. When is he just going to shut up? I really didn't want that. And so what I would do is I would start telling a little snippet of a story, and then I would wait to see people's reaction. And if it was positive, if it was favorable, then I would continue. And if it wasn't, then I would sort of draw back. And truthfully, telling stories in fear is probably one of the worst ways that you can tell a story. You really have to have confidence that what you're going to say should be heard. Now, sometimes it shouldn't be, I guess, because not everything we say is really that valuable and that important, but you can't have that in your mind when you're telling a story. Even to this day, there are situations that I leave, maybe a party or something like that, and I think, did I talk too much? But I'm thinking that in retrospect, after the fact, not during that time. Because if you think about that during the time, it will cripple you with fear. So keeping those two things in mind, not comparing, having confidence in who you are, here are a few practical tips for you if you were in the situation like this student where he was in a car and he really didn't know how to interject his story. And he kind of felt bad because other people were. So first things first. Good storytellers are good listeners. So if you want to tell a story, you want to listen. And oftentimes I find that if you want a chance to tell your own story, asking questions is really good. Because oftentimes when you ask questions, it draws certain parts of other people's stories out, and that often gives you a chance to interject your own thoughts or opinions on what other people are saying. Also, when you're listening, it can spark ideas in your own mind. You can kind of have a back and forth. If somebody is sharing something and it kind of reminds you of a story or something that you did or said or thought, that's really the time that you want to interject your own story. So you want to be a good listener. Also, you know what? Brevity is really a good spice of life. Okay, brevity and levity. So make it short, make it humorous, make it light, make it funny if you can, and then be done. Truthfully, if you can do that and you can get into a story and say your story and then get out, and that's good. You don't have to tell too many stories, especially if you feel uncomfortable. You can let other people carry the burden of that. But if you're listening and you're hearing other people's stories and other people talk, that's often going to spark different ideas in your own mind, and then you can interject what you think or feel at the same time. Okay, very valid issue, very valid problem, one that we've all dealt with. But honestly, it's something that storytelling can overcome because really we all have our own stories, and our own stories are important. We just have to have the confidence to give voice to it. And in the long run, if you're in this car for too long and you can't think of a story, and your friends can't think of a story, turn that radio up. All right, we'll see you next time.